This is Cultic. Cultic is a retro-style game that draws inspiration from Resident Evil 4 and the 1997 game Blood. Developed by a one-man studio led by Jason Smith. This game offers a compelling experience for speedrunner enthusiasts, and here are 3 reasons why I think it stands out. The movement. Cultic provides a distinctive movement system that offers a refreshing challenge while still feeling familiar. Players can quickly grasp the mechanics, allowing them to dive into the action and start honing their skills. The replayability. With its captivating music, engaging gun mechanics, and aforementioned movement system, Cultic forms a solid foundation that makes it highly addictive in the best possible way. Players can continuously find enjoyment in revisiting the game and striving for a faster completion time. The RNG. There is some RNG in this game, but it mostly comes down to user error. I'll get more into it when we get into the speedrun. But just quickly, there are some setups that can reduce the RNG in this game to almost nothing. We're going to be playing as a nameless and faceless detective in the 60s. The detective was taken off a case for recent homicides, disappearances, and kidnappings, but he decided to continue with his leads on his own and ended up at an asylum where someone with an axe was waiting for him. Then we wake up in a mass grave, making all of his hunches about the cult correct. Now over the course of the next 10 levels, we'll progress further into the cultist lair, trying to stop them in any way. Also, before we start, this is going to be on the any percent version of the speedrun, and played on the V102 archive version, so we can perform certain glitches. As soon as we start the run, you'll notice I'm clicking a lot. This is a core tech in the run, and we'll be calling it JKD. This stands for jump, kick, and dodge. By binding all these actions to the same key, we can exploit the game's mechanics to gain an advantage in terms of movement speed and distance covered. It also seems to be the case that if you time them correctly, you can maintain and even gain some speed. Alright, back into the run. Another thing with JKDs is if you look high enough, you can jump over certain objects, like that fence. And now we're going to get inside of the prison by breaking inside of a window on the 2nd floor. We're going inside here so we can get into the garage and pick up a weapon part. This weapon part is going to be used for the shotgun later in the game. Now we can head out of the garage and continue forward with the mission. We're going to jump past all these cultists and then head up the hill, where we're going to time and place our JKDs to the point where we can pick up some Molotovs. Again, setting up for later in the run. We're now going to jump across this bridge and then make our way to this house, where we're going to break inside the back of it to pick up a shotgun. Now we can circle back out and then jump over towards this waterfall. Once we're on this waterfall, we can ride up against the mountain and then JKD up and then over. This will push us past a barrier so we can get out of the map. We're then going to line ourselves up in between a crack and then JKD straight up while walking against the slope and get on the mountain. We're normally meant to get a key for the door to the left, but as you can see, we can just jump behind it and hit the end trigger. And that's the end of the first mission, Grave. Getting the shotgun, Molotovs, and weapon part puts us in a very good position for the rest of the run. And now we can get to this workbench where we can upgrade the shotgun with packed shells, which takes 3 weapon parts to upgrade. One being the one we got in the garage, and the other 2 were sitting right next to the workbench. Packed shells gives an increase in power and knockback. You'll see that knockback coming up soon. We're swimming down here because the side of the mountain doesn't fully come down, allowing us to clip through. And the reason for packed shells is going to be coming up soon. You'll see I look down and then use the alternate fire to shoot both shells. This gives us an increased amount of height so we can make that jump. We're going to get inside of the cave, which was behind a door that was locked. Now it's just navigating through the cave. I'm going to be using crouch JKDs as to not hit my head. Now that we're out of the cave, we can get on top of these shipping containers and then do another shotgun jump up on top of the mountain. We're then going to jump into the trees at a certain area so we can drop down out of bounds and then back in bounds much further into the mission. Or we can just jump to the end of the level. You might have noticed that I didn't take any fall damage. That's because in this game, when you open up the console, you take no damage, including fall damage. We're now getting into the mission, the Mine Town. There's no real out of bounds on this mission, but we're meant to be getting a cog and a crank to bring down a bridge. But rather than doing that, we can just JKD around it. Now it's just a matter of optimizing the JKDs to get over towards the factory. Again, we're meant to explore through all the buildings and get a key. Rather than that, we're going to make a JKD on top of the mountain to get over the wall. And we have our Molotov out from the first level to break the wall to get inside of the factory. We just need to make our way up. You'll notice a floating barrel. That's controlled by the ghost I'm about to kick. The ghost is a specialty cultist that has telekinesis, so he can throw objects at you, like that exploding barrel, which can be dangerous and kind of a run killer. But now that we're up here, we can press the lever and slide down the conveyor belt, waiting for the minecart to come up so we can drop down and end out the level. We're now going to load into the second shortest mission, called the Mines. You'll notice I pick up a barrel. This is so we can perform a prop flip. When we pick it up, it's going to be an intangible, transparent object. And then when we throw it, it'll be solid again. So I set myself up in the corner of the minecart and threw it in a specific area, letting me clip through that wall. Now it's just a matter of JKDing past all the enemies, including the harvester and a ghost, so we can platform our way to hit both of the switches, which lets us activate the lift. Once we are on the lift, we just got to be careful and take it all the way up, and that will let us end out this mission. Now we're going to get into the shortest mission in the game, called the Crypts. You'll see we're going to be picking up another barrel, so we can perform another prop flip. But rather than having the barrel upright, we're going to look down and then drop it so it's on its side. This will help with the consistency of this clip. Now we're going to jump inside this corner, and then we're going to place our crosshairs in between the walls and the floor, and then throw the barrel. Now we can jump on the rock, and then do another couple JKDs to hit an end trigger that's not meant to be placed here. I actually found this when I was messing with the modifiers that the dev put into the game. That lets you go super fast. I actually have a video of me messing around with that. That'll put at the end credits. Going from the shortest mission to the longest mission in the game with the chapel. To start off, we're going to be getting a bunch of resources as fast as possible and then go up the stairs so we can start the first wave. While we're waiting for the enemies to spawn in, we're going to go over to this barricade and throw 7 TNT to kill the boss that's going to be coming in later a lot faster. You also want to optimize picking up all the items here, such as the TNT, the blast armor, and ammo. There's going to be 3 waves of enemies. This first one's going to spawn 4 groups of 3. The second wave is going to spawn 17 enemies, and the third wave is going to spawn 21 enemies. There is some RNG where they spawn, so you just got to memorize the spawn points and use your ears to figure out where they are in the level. Also, there is some RNG on the third wave with how many harvesters can spawn. I believe it's around 0 to 4. The harvesters are those ugly looking things with the chainsaw. You want to have a low amount of harvesters spawn because they take a lot of resources to kill. I also like to pick up the rest of the resources in between the first wave and the second wave. For the most part, I'm using the SMG and the shotgun for all the enemies, and if I see a group of them, I'll throw the TNT and then shoot it to kill all the enemies in the proximity. There is a trigger out of bounds on this map, but it's not possible to get there in a time that's faster than just playing the level out normally, so far. You'll know the wave is over when the slow-mo effect happens and the saturation is lowered. Going into the third wave, we want to have our Molotov ready for the harvester. It seems throwing a couple at him is the fastest way to kill him. I'll do a quick little montage of the rest of the wave. After all that, we're going to get into a cutscene that we're going to skip and then head over towards that barricade where we're going to shoot a grenade launcher at, exploding all those TNT we put in earlier. This will insta-kill the tank, which will let us end out this mission. We're now going to get into my favorite level, the Asylum Grounds. In this one, we're supposed to be going through a couple sections by powering some doors, but obviously we're going to be taking a different route. We can JKD on top of this mountain and then go up the stairs where we're going to get on top of a tree. When we're there, we're going to look up, JKD, look down, shoot our shotgun, and then look back up and JKD again, where we're going to set a quick save. In this game, when you set a quick save and then quick load, your jump resets. So that will let us get on top of this mountain. Now it's just a matter of following along the top of this mountain and optimizing the JKDs to try to get as much speed as possible. Once we get over to this tree, we can make a jump across the barrier to make it a little faster, and then jumping off the edge of the mountain, trying to land directly inside of the end trigger, as to not take any fall damage. Now we're going to fall into the next level, the Asylum. This next trigger is a newer one, found by Bonegurus, which I think I might have pronounced his name wrong. But what we need to do is pick up the chair and then come back to the bookshelf, where we're going to push ourselves in and then set a quick save. When we load that quick save, we're going to turn around, slide, and then JKD out of bounds. Now we can go over here and then do a shotgun jump inside the building. The rest is just platforming to the very top so we can drop down and fuel the generator. While I'm making my way up to the top, if you wouldn't mind dropping a like, it really helps out the video. Thank you. Now we can press the switch and take the lift down, and that's going to end out this level. Now we're going to be getting into the worst mission. For speedrunners at least, the excavation site. The reason why I say this is because the prop clip coming up isn't as consistent as the other two, making this a run killer at the very end of the game. All that we need to do is find a more consistent setup. Also, as you can see, I used the console trick again to not take any fall damage. So far, this is just a scuffed lineup. I like to get myself right in the corner of the wall and then just a little bit off to the right of the fireplace. Then I'm setting a quick save and then loading that quick save to do 2 things. Either get through the wall or de-aggro the enemies so I can keep trying to hit the prop clip. But fortunately enough, I got through that first time. Now we just get through this door where a giant group of enemies are waiting for us. But rather than fighting them, we're obviously just going to jump past them. Again, we're just going to JKD through the level, trying to avoid taking any damage. After we go up the stairs, there's going to be a cultist with a grenade launcher that we got to be careful for. But once we get up the stairs, it's just a straight shot through the end of the level. Now we're going to get into the very last mission of the game, the Abomination. Right away, we're going to jump over to the workbench, where we're going to upgrade the grenade launcher with slam fire and custom tube magazine. This will let us use our alternate fire for a semi-automatic rather than a pump, and give us some extra ammo. We're just going to skip past this cutscene and then straight away start shooting at the Abomination. It's going to be in a couple phases, where we're going to break his shield and then throw Thor and TNT inside of his ribcage, where we're going to then blow it up and then his shield's going to pop back up. We just need to keep repeating this process. While we're letting this fight play out, I just want to thank everyone in the Cultic Speedrun Discord, especially Bonegurus, Chaos Wolf, Scuddy, and last but not least, Jason Smith. Without any of them, a video like this would never have been made. Especially Jason Smith, with, making the game and all. But I also wanted to thank you guys for watching this video to the very end. And if you really enjoyed the video, drop a comment. Let me know what your favorite level was. Or if you didn't like the video, let me know what you didn't like about it. Anyways, if you want to watch that video I mentioned earlier, where I speedrun the game with a bunch of modifiers on, that makes it a completely different game, you can watch this video next. Later.